Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered what's really out there? One of the most intriguing possibilities is Proxima b, an Earth-sized planet orbiting our closest stellar neighbor, Proxima Centauri. Located just over 4 light-years away, it seems tantalizingly close, a potential second Earth just waiting to be reached. But here's the twist. Getting to Proxima b is virtually impossible, at least with our current technology.
In this video, we're diving deep into the cold, hard facts of interstellar travel and why humanity can't just pack its bags and head to this exoplanet paradise. To understand the problem, you first need to grasp just how far away Proxima b really is. Proxima Centauri is about 4.24 light-years from Earth. That's nearly 40 trillion kilometers, an unfathomable distance by human standards.
To put that into perspective, the farthest spacecraft we've ever launched, Voyager 1, has been traveling since 1977 and hasn't even made it 1 light day away from us. If we sent a craft at Voyager 1's speed, it would take over 75,000 years to reach Proxima b. Even our fastest space probe to date, the Parker Solar Probe, would still take more than 6,000 years to make the trip. That's not exactly a weekend getaway.
The sheer scale of interstellar distances makes the idea of reaching Proxima b a monumental challenge. Our spacecraft propulsion technology just isn't designed for interstellar travel. Traditional chemical rockets, like those used in Apollo missions, are great for getting out of Earth's orbit, but they're painfully slow by cosmic standards. Ion drives, while more efficient, still offer speeds that are way too low for such vast distances. Even more advanced theoretical concepts like nuclear fusion engines or antimatter propulsion are decades away from being viable, if they ever become feasible at all. There are ideas floating around, like Breakthrough Starshot, which proposes sending tiny probes using laser-powered light sails, but these are still in the experimental stages, and even then, they wouldn't carry humans, just sensors.
Until a revolutionary new propulsion method is invented, the dream of physically reaching Proxima b remains just that, a dream. Traveling through deep space isn't just slow, it's deadly. The vast void between stars is filled with intense radiation, cosmic rays, and high-energy particles that can wreak havoc on both spacecraft and human biology. Earth's magnetic field protects us from much of this radiation, but once you leave the solar system, all bets are off. Without significant radiation shielding, which would add tons of weight and cost to any spacecraft, long-term human survival would be nearly impossible. There's also the danger of micrometeoroids traveling at incredible speeds. Even a grain of sand hitting a spaceship at near relativistic velocity could cause catastrophic damage. Space isn't just empty, it's actively hostile. Even if we could build a spacecraft capable of approaching a significant fraction of the speed of light, we'd run into bizarre problems predicted by Einstein's theory of relativity. One of them is time dilation. The faster you go, the slower time moves for you relative to people back on Earth. That might sound useful for long trips, but it creates massive social and psychological challenges. What happens when the crew returns to a homeworld that has aged decades or centuries while they've only experienced a few years? More importantly, even with these relativistic effects, it would still take years to get there. With no technology to keep humans alive that long, not to mention mental health during a one-way trip through darkness, we're nowhere near solving the problem. Let's imagine, somehow, we made it to Proxima b. Now what? How would we communicate with Earth? Even light-speed signals would take over 4 years to get a response. That means no real-time communication, no support from home, and zero room for error. Resupply missions? Forget it. One way only. The delay would make any kind of assistance utterly impractical. And don't forget, we have no idea what Proxima b's surface is actually like. It may be tidally locked, with one side scorched by its red dwarf sun and the other frozen in darkness. Without boots on the ground or real-time observations, planning a mission there would be like launching to a planet blindfolded. It's a logistical nightmare wrapped in layers of cosmic uncertainty. Reaching Proxima b would require an unimaginable amount of energy. Even theoretical spacecraft concepts that use nuclear propulsion or light sails demand energy outputs that surpass anything we've ever produced. Just accelerating a small payload to 10% the speed of light would require more energy than the entire world produces in a year. We'd need compact, reliable fusion reactors, a technology we haven't mastered yet. And if we did, how would we safely launch and control such raw power? The energy problem isn't just about propulsion, it's about sustaining life, maintaining systems, and navigating unknown regions of space. Simply put, we don't have the power, literally, to make the trip happen. Science fiction loves the idea of cryogenic sleep, where astronauts sleep for decades only to wake up at their destination. But in real science, this is far from possible. Our best cryopreservation techniques are still struggling to preserve organs, let alone whole human bodies. We don't know how to safely freeze and revive a person without causing irreversible cellular damage. And even if we did, we'd need life support systems that run flawlessly for decades or even centuries. No known system has that kind of reliability. Until cryosleep becomes a reality, any long-term human mission to Proxima b is a logistical dead end. One major hurdle is the lack of infrastructure beyond Earth. Right now, we can barely maintain a space station in low Earth orbit. We don't have space docks, refueling stations, or even permanent lunar bases. These would be essential stepping stones for any deep space mission. Proxima b isn't just far, it's outside our entire solar system. Without a reliable network of facilities to support such a journey, we can't even begin to stage the kind of operation it would take to launch an interstellar mission. Building that infrastructure would take decades, trillions of dollars, and unprecedented global cooperation. Even if we somehow reached Proxima b, we'd be faced with a dangerous sun. Proxima Centauri is a red dwarf star, and not a stable one. It frequently emits violent solar flares, releasing radiation that could strip the atmosphere of a planet or fry any electronics on the surface. These flares are far more intense than what we experience from our sun. That means Proxima b could be completely uninhabitable, with radiation levels that make long-term survival impossible. Any mission there would need to include enormous protective shielding or underground habitats, technology we haven't developed or tested. Getting to space is hard because of Earth's gravity well, the energy needed to escape Earth's pull. Launching an interstellar ship would require an enormous amount of thrust, which means either multiple launches to build the craft in orbit or one gigantic and risky launch from Earth. The more massive the ship, the harder it is to launch, especially if you're carrying human passengers, fuel, food, water, radiation shielding, and life support systems. Escaping Earth with such a heavy payload without advanced technology is, for now, nearly impossible. Humans are biologically designed for Earth. Microgravity causes muscle atrophy, bone loss, and vision problems. Long-term exposure to zero-gravity environments has lasting effects we still don't fully understand. Proxima b may have a different gravity, atmosphere, or magnetic field, or none at all. Even if the planet is habitable, the adjustment could cause severe physical and psychological problems. We're nowhere near creating the kind of adaptive medical technologies needed to safely live and thrive on another world. Evolution has tied us to Earth. Breaking those bonds is no simple feat. An interstellar mission would require autonomous AI capable of managing the entire spacecraft, from navigation to maintenance to crisis response. Our current AI can't even reliably drive a car in city traffic without human supervision. Trusting it to handle an interstellar journey is risky. AI needs to be not just smart, but self-aware, intuitive, and capable of learning on the fly, things we haven't achieved. Until then, entrusting a multi-decade journey to AI is a technological gamble we can't afford to take. Even if the technology existed, who would pay for it? The cost of building, testing, launching, and maintaining an interstellar craft would be astronomical, possibly in the tens of trillions of dollars. That's more than the GDP of most nations. It would require international cooperation, long-term vision, and political willpower that we rarely see. With wars, climate change, and economic instability on Earth, it's unlikely that governments or private companies would invest in such a distant and uncertain goal, especially without a guaranteed payoff. Let's not underestimate the toll of isolation. A trip to Proxima b would involve years, maybe decades of travel through the cold, empty void of space. No contact, no sunlight, no escape. Even the most trained astronauts struggle with extended isolation aboard the International Space Station, and they're just a few hundred kilometers above Earth. A mission to Proxima b would push the human mind far beyond its known limits, potentially resulting in mental breakdowns, depression, or worse. We're social creatures, and space offers no comfort. It's a popular trope, but we genuinely don't know what's out there. Proxima b could harbor microbial life, or even more complex organisms. If life exists, it might pose unknown biological or ecological threats. Conversely, we could bring Earth bacteria that destroy an alien biosphere. Our ignorance about exoplanetary ecosystems makes any form of colonization dangerous, not just ethically, but biologically. The risk of contamination in either direction could lead to interplanetary catastrophe. Even if we could go, should we? The ethics of colonizing another planet are murky. Would we be exploiting a pristine world? What if intelligent life does exist there, or did in the past? What responsibility do we have as explorers, or potential invaders? These questions haven't been addressed by international law or ethics boards, yet they're critical. Space isn't just the next frontier, it's a mirror that reflects our values. And right now, we may not be ready to face the answers. Despite all the headlines, we know shockingly little about Proxima b. Its size and orbit suggest it's in the habitable zone, but we don't know if it has water, a breathable atmosphere, plate tectonics, or any of the ingredients necessary for life. Sending a mission based on such sparse data would be like building a city in the middle of the ocean based on a blurry photo. We need vastly better telescopes and observation tools before we can make informed decisions about interstellar exploration. Even if a crew arrived, sustainability would be an enormous issue. Could they grow food, filter water, generate power, survive natural disasters, reproduce? What if a critical machine breaks down with no spare parts or technicians? Earth has ecosystems and support systems developed over billions of years. Recreating those in an alien environment would require massive redundancy, innovation, and preparation, all based on incomplete information. Any small failure could doom the entire mission. One-way trips might seem acceptable in theory, but what if the mission fails? Would we have a plan for bringing astronauts back? Would Earth be able to recover lost crew, technology, or even learn from the failure? If return trips are impossible or prohibitively expensive, the mission becomes a suicide mission masked as exploration. That's a heavy cost for science, and one most governments or ethical institutions wouldn't support. Finally, before dreaming of Proxima b, we must ask, why not focus on Mars or Europa? These targets are much closer, easier to study, and offer stepping stones for space colonization. The Moon, Mars, and even the asteroid belt present less extreme versions of the same challenges and could help us develop the tech and experience needed for deeper space missions. Rushing toward a distant exoplanet might be premature when we haven't even mastered our own cosmic neighborhood. Even if we launched a mission today with the best available tech, that tech could be obsolete long before the craft even arrives. Space missions to Proxima b might take decades or even centuries. By the time it gets there, newer, faster spacecraft may already be on the way using vastly superior methods. This raises a strange problem. Why send a slow ship today, knowing future missions might overtake it? This issue of technological leapfrogging makes it hard to justify long-term investment in any current project without first securing a propulsion method that can stay relevant over deep time. If something goes wrong on the mission, a system failure, disease outbreak, mutiny, or environmental hazard, there's no one coming to help. Unlike the International Space Station or even a Mars base, where emergency missions could in theory be launched,
A craft en route to Proxima b is completely isolated. No rescue mission, no resupply ship, no second chances. Everything must work perfectly for decades. The margin for error is zero, and space doesn't forgive mistakes. We don't know what Proxima b actually looks like. Is it a rocky wasteland, a frozen world, or a water-covered orb with crushing pressures beneath?
With no clear data on its surface conditions, topography, climate, or even if it has a solid surface at all, any mission would be flying blind. We wouldn't send a deep-sea submarine into an unexplored trench without maps. Why send humans across the stars into total planetary uncertainty? There's one barrier we rarely consider. The laws of physics may not allow for faster-than-light travel.
Every known attempt to bypass light speed, warp drives, wormholes, Alcubierre bubbles, runs into one of two issues. It either violates known physics or requires exotic matter with properties we've never observed. If Einstein's speed limit truly holds, then Proxima b is unreachable within a human lifetime unless we radically rewrite the physics books, and that rewrite has yet to happen.
Moving at even a fraction of the speed of light sounds great until you realize that interstellar space isn't empty. Dust and gas particles, even microscopic ones, become high-speed bullets at those velocities. A grain of sand hitting a spacecraft at 0.1 c could cause catastrophic damage. Shielding against this requires materials and design strategies we haven't perfected. A single impact could end a decades-long journey in an instant. The faster you go, the more dangerous space becomes.
What happens to a mission that spans generations? If it takes hundreds of years, the descendants of the original crew may not even speak the same language or hold the same values. Cultural memory could decay, leading future generations to question the mission itself. They might abandon the goal, alter the course, or reject the sacrifice made by their ancestors. Keeping a mission focused and unified over centuries isn't just a technical challenge, it's a sociological one. Even if Proxima b were kind of habitable, it might still need extensive terraforming to become livable. That means altering its atmosphere, temperature, pressure, and possibly introducing Earth life. But we haven't even begun terraforming Mars, a far simpler target. The idea of transforming an alien world light years away into a human paradise is, at present, science fiction.
And unless we can figure out how to do it on a test run in our own solar system, we're not ready for a project of that magnitude. Navigating to another star system isn't as simple as setting a course. Space isn't static. Stars move, gravitational forces bend space, and orbits shift. Over decades, Proxima Centauri may drift, and we'd need extreme precision to even find the planet by the time we arrive. Tiny navigational errors could mean missing the entire star system by millions of kilometers. We've never navigated across that kind of time span and distance. Doing so reliably is a whole new frontier of engineering and mathematics. A failed mission to Proxima b, especially if lives are lost, could haunt humanity for generations. The psychological weight of failure on such a historic scale might stifle future exploration efforts, dampen public interest, and discourage political or financial support for decades. Imagine spending trillions, devoting lifetimes, and ending with a signal that simply reads, "Mission failed." The risk is immense, and the consequences could ripple across centuries of human ambition. Lastly, we must face the truth. Earth needs us more right now. Climate change, resource scarcity, pandemics, social unrest, these crises demand immediate action. Pouring unimaginable resources into reaching Proxima b while Earth suffers raises ethical concerns. Shouldn't we fix our home first? Space dreams are inspiring, but abandoning Earth for another planet we can't even reach may be the wrong message, especially when the only world proven to sustain life is the one under our feet. One of the more talked about solutions to the Proxima b problem is the idea of a generation ship, a spacecraft where multiple generations of humans live and die during a centuries-long journey. But this raises serious ethical issues. Future generations would be born into a predetermined destiny without consent. They'd never see Earth, and they'd be forced to continue a mission they never agreed to begin. Are we morally justified in binding unborn humans to a life inside a metal tube for a goal they may not share? It's a dilemma no one has truly resolved. The more fuel you need for a long journey, the more mass your ship carries. But the more mass your ship carries, the more fuel you need to move it. It's a vicious cycle known as the fuel mass paradox. For a journey to Proxima b, you'd need exponentially more fuel just to carry the fuel itself. This is one of the fundamental problems in rocketry, and it scales badly with interstellar distances. Until we develop massless propulsion or in-space fuel harvesting systems, we're stuck with a system that defeats itself the further we try to go. Even if we sent robots to Proxima b instead of humans, we'd still hit the wall of data delay. A single round-trip communication from Earth would take more than 8 years. Imagine diagnosing a malfunction, waiting 4 years for a status update, and another 4 years for instructions. It would make autonomy mandatory, but current AI is nowhere near advanced enough to handle such mission-critical decisions. Without a reliable solution to deep space communication, even robotic missions face major handicaps. Space projects often suffer from mission creep, the gradual addition of more goals, more complexity, more technology. This results in delays, budget overruns, and even cancellations. A mission to Proxima b would be the most ambitious human endeavor ever attempted, making it especially vulnerable to this. Adding just one more sensor, module, or experiment could set the launch date back years. Without strict discipline, the mission could collapse under its own weight before ever leaving Earth.